I read a little bit of a study, um, basically on stress induced eating, and how the brain, when it's stressed, it requires 12% more energy than it normally does. So when our brain requires that energy, it looks for something that's quick and suitable, like sugar, like fat, and foods that are basically, they give you dopamine release and give you serotonin. Foods that are high in fats and foods that are high in sugars. So right now I'm cooking Impossible Burgers. Now the nutrition in Impossible Burgers aren't that much different from a Wendy's burger. We're talking about 390 milligrams of sodium, 19 grams of protein, 5 grams of carbs, and 13 grams of fat in an Impossible Burger, and that's very similar than to one patty with cheese at Wendy's, right? Very, very similar. The only thing is that, well, the cholesterol is different. And then obviously you're eating meat with Wendy's, animal protein, and then it's soy protein with Impossible Burger. So there is a difference. But as far as like the macros, they're very the same. I think for me, it's more of a mindset thing. Like if I'm extremely stressed, like I said earlier, the 12% thing, our bodies release hormones, and our minds tell us that we need to have food immediately to reduce or combat this level of stress that's taking away the energy. We want to replenish energy. Stress depletes energy. So our bodies look for sugars, our bodies look for fats. It looks for anything that makes us feel good, and that is most likely fast food. So when people are working those 9 to 5s and they're at their desk all day and they're highly stressed on the computer and they want to grab something really quick because they did not prep their food. And that's the main issue, that people are not prepping their food. If you don't prep your food, or if you don't have food that is healthy and readily available for when you do get stressed, then you're going to most likely go for options that are not good for you. If you have good self-control, then this won't be a problem for you. In the past, I've had poor self-control. Whenever I was stressed, I would go to Culver's. I would go to In-N-Out, and I can eat. So when I say I go to Culver's and In-N-Out, I'm not talking about just a patty. I'm talking about 2 double doubles with 2 fries and a milkshake. I'm talking about 3,000 calories in one sitting. Now, what does that do to the body? Well, if we use a little bit of common sense, if you overeat or you overconsume, you store. So not only am I storing fat, I'm increasing adipose tissue, I'm increasing the density of those fat cells. I'm also increasing cardiovascular disease, higher cholesterol, lowering my good cholesterol, increasing my bad cholesterol. So there's certain things that go into eating fast foods. Although you get that release, I believe it's either dopamine or serotonin, you do get a release in eating sugary foods and fast foods and foods that are gunky and chunky. But at the end of the day, you still will have some side effects, possibly short term and then possibly long term. So in my professional opinion, I believe that you need to work on your psyche first, your mental state first. And then I think that is the head of everything, and everything falls underneath that. It's not so much, oh, I'm hungry, I'm wanting to get a burger. It's the ability to control and work with, I would say, that sensation, that feeling of stress overdrive, wanting to get anything in sight. You have to defeat that, because you're going to end up grabbing bad food that damages you. You're going to get that high, that spike, and you're going to drop right back down. You're going to spike your insulin, you're going to spike your energy levels, and you're going to have a huge crash. And that's not something that's sustainable. So yesterday, I had a very, very stressful day. Bills are piling up. My mother just died, so I have to take care of all the estate. I had hefty meetings. And it was just a lot going through my mind. So I had a great training session in the morning, one of the best training sessions ever. And then later in the day, my nutrition was subpar. I had like a period where 5 hours I didn't eat. And when I'm stressed, I don't eat. And back in the day, I tended to overeat. So I used to go out, like I said, to the Culver's, to the In-N-Out. Yesterday, I was driving home from dropping off a piece of mail that I had to ship out, right? That was like the end of my stress. I was like, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to do. Driving home, I was passing Chipotle, Subway, Papa John's, Domino's, Wendy's, Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, I can name them all. We have so many unlimited options of bullshit food. And when you get that hunger, which most people do, they run straight to there. They're served whatever it's on the menu. They consume it. It satisfies them for that little bit of time, but over time that can cause damage to you, your mind, your body, your psyche, everything, your goals. So for me, yesterday, I went home. I was hungry, I was hangry, but I was learning how to work with that and control that. I didn't grab a Snickers because I was hungry. I learned how to control it, breathe, work with it. I knew I was hungry, but I wasn't starving, number one. And number two, I have abundance and I have nutrition stocked in the house. I'm not on the street poor with no funds and no way to access healthy foods. So I keep that in mind as well. Okay, I will be fine. So then I go home and I open up my freezer, my fridge, whatever I have to do to cook. And I put that same like fearful energy, like I have to eat, I have to consume, into my cooking. So the next thing you know it, I'm whipping out 5 pounds of chicken, I'm grilling it, and I'm grilling Impossible Burgers. I'm grilling cooking potatoes, and then I turn around, and an hour or two later, I have batches of food, batches of healthy food. And what maintained my energy levels through that is a healthy protein bar. I actually grabbed a healthy protein bar from Costco and ate that, and my energy levels, I felt immediately. It was like a snap. It was like boom. But it wasn't that peak drop like eating fast food or ice cream or sugary foods. It was a peak, and it's level out and maintained. So I was able to work with the healthy food I had and work longer and cook even more healthy food. So think about that. Next time you get hungry or you get stressed, our body requires more energy, but look for healthy energy. Like I was telling somebody the other day, you don't put unleaded in a Lamborghini. It's premium or whatever the hell is above premium. You don't put unleaded. And if you do put unleaded, it'll run, but it'll break down eventually. So just remember that, and hope this helped. Justin Parker, Humble Lifters Training. Thank you.